Welcome back, Startup Scientists. My name is Lavender, and today we're going to talk all about activism. Activism is just working together to create a difference. Now, do you remember in our last video how we talked about Marie Copeny, also known as Little Miss Flint? Well, Marie is an activist. She works to make her community healthier by raising awareness for her hometown Flint that has water that makes people sick. Marie started her journey by identifying a problem in her community and deciding that she wanted to make it better. Now, just like Marie, we're going to work to find a problem in your community and then work on how to fix that problem. So at the end of our last video, we asked you to go out in your neighborhood and collect some data. If you haven't done that yet, pause the video now and go back to our intro to environmental justice video. Once you've gone on your scavenger hunt and collected your data, come back and we can get started. So the data you collected probably has a ton of information. Maybe you counted trees or noticed that there weren't recycling bins in your neighborhood. Found an abandoned parking lot. Take a look at the data you collected. Is there anything you found that you wish was different in your neighborhood? Maybe you noticed that there weren't many plants around you, or you found that there isn't a bike lane in your neighborhood, or you realized that you don't have a way to compost food waste. Pick one thing that you wish was different. Then, Sprout Up Scientists, you have your problem. You've taken the first step to being an activist, identifying the problem. Now that you've identified your problem and you're excited to make it better, the next step is figuring out how to get the word out about that problem. There are so many awesome ways to communicate to others about problems in the community. A few ideas include making art, writing a song, writing letters, and lots more. The rest of this video will focus on learning about all the different ways to be an activist in your community.
Hello everyone! My nature name is Seal and I'm located in New York City. So I want to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, art. So you may be wondering, Seal, what the heck does art have to do with activism? Well, art is just a way to express your thoughts and ideas, and being an activist is all about communicating your thoughts and ideas. Art activism is so awesome because it's super fun to make and it gets people thinking about really important ideas. So what's the history of art activism? Well, throughout history, artists have always understood that sometimes words fail to describe something that doesn't feel fair or just. Art can help fix this problem. Art often acts as its own special language, bridging together different people, places, and times. In other words, art is like a universal language. Everyone can understand it, even if they don't speak the same language as the artist. In order to support different social justice movements, artists have created posters, murals, billboards, stickers, paintings, sculptures, street art, or even performance art, and often work together with other artists and members of their community to make it even better. Artists can work in different mediums, like paint, ink, found materials, that's basically just stuff that's found as trash and turned into art, spray paint, collages, photography, film, and anything you can think of. Art activists create pieces that draw attention to things that are happening in the world or around them in their neighborhood, all in an effort to create meaningful, positive change. Some historical examples of art activists include the Mexican muralists, the painter Jacob Lawrence, the photographer Carrie Mae Weems, the artist and educator Maren Hassinger, the art installationist Ai Weiwei, and so many more. Maren Hassinger is a super important example of someone who uses art as a form of activism. She is a Black woman who is mostly known for making sculptures, videos, and public pieces of art, often out of natural and recycled materials. Let's take a look at a couple of the sculptures that she's made. So, while you look at these sculptures, what do you notice about them? What do you think they're made out of? To me, it kind of looks like this one is made out of pink plastic bags, and the other one could be made out of wire. What do you like about Maren Hassinger's art, and what do you think you could make? Just like her, you can make basically whatever you want out of recycled materials too. Activism is all about making positive changes, and art is so crucial to making positive changes. The awesome thing about art is that anyone can be an amazing artist, no matter how old you are. Funnily enough, kids are often the most creative ones, so even though you may be young, you have a voice that is important, creative, and awesome. So why not use it to make the world better? There are so many ways to make art meaningful, but here are just a few ideas you can bounce around. Because of the pandemic, lots of people are still indoors a lot of the time. So if you aren't able to leave your house, maybe you could make a poster or a piece of art with an activist statement that you really like, such as reduce, reuse, recycle, or protect people and the planet, and hang it in your window for all your neighbors to see. Or maybe you want to get your friends, family, and neighbors together to make a community art gallery. You could all make your own posters and put them up somewhere in your community for everyone to see. This could be on your windows, on a fence, as long as everyone's okay with it. You could even invite people to visit your outdoor gallery, one at a time with masks on, of course. You could also make flyers about problems that you identified in your scavenger hunt in the last video, and include a call to action. For example, if you wish you had a community garden, maybe you could make a flyer that lists out all the benefits of community gardening for the environment and for people, and then put those flyers in your neighbors' mailboxes or on a public bulletin board. You could include a phone number or an email address on the flyer so that your neighbors can get in contact with you to start addressing the issue. Whatever you do, it's important to remember that all art is meaningful, and art can be whatever you want it to be. Now that we've talked about art activism and some ideas on how to get involved, we're gonna head over to Nutmeg to learn about some street art in New York City.
What's up, Sprout Up Explorers? I'm Nutmeg, and I'm a Sprout Up instructor, nature nerd, artist, and activist from New York. Today, we're going to take a tour of all the different ways you can find art and activism around New York City. I live in the East Village, where there's tons of community art and activism projects. I'm going to show you a few of them now.
In Lower Manhattan, the local parks and gardens are a hub of community arts activism. Every spring, a parade goes through each of the parks, celebrating their ecological services through art, music, and dance. The community uses the arts as a way to show their love and appreciation of the green spaces in New York, and advocate for their protection. Think about where you live. Are people using any public spaces to make art? Maybe you've seen murals and signs for Black Lives Matter. By making art and sharing it with their community, activists are raising awareness for the issues they're passionate about and making their voices heard in unique ways. As I was walking around the city, I saw tons of different art supporting Black Lives Matter. I also saw historical murals about different activists who lived in New York, celebrating their work. Sometimes I saw activist art that I didn't quite understand, so it was an opportunity for me to learn more about who the artists were and what they were trying to tell me. Art activism can be a great way for communities to learn together and teach one another. And art activism can be a lot of different things. Maybe you make a poster or a painting and hang it up in your window. Some people write songs or create dances that communicate what they're passionate about, or they write poems. It can be as simple as a chalk drawing on the sidewalk or as complicated as a mural on the wall. If you're going to put your art in a public space, make sure you check with your parents or people in your community to make sure artists are allowed to put their work there. I hope you enjoyed this little art activism tour of New York. If you can, take a walk around your hometown and see where you can find some artwork. Maybe it will inspire you to help create some art for change of your own.
But if you're feeling like art isn't for you, that's totally okay. There are so many other ways to become an activist. If you feel like there's a problem that needs more attention or a problem that you want to talk about, you can gather all your friends together and write a letter to your principal, the people in charge of your school, or your school board. You can even ask the grown-ups in your life to help you construct a letter to send to your mayors or state representatives. There are countless ways to become an activist.
It's also super important to remember that everyone's help counts. Change starts with individual people and their individual actions, and your actions alone just by themselves may not help the entire problem. However, when activism is done as a community, it can really make a difference. Now imagine all of that activism happening all throughout the world. That's how real change is made.
Hi everyone, it's Sloth. I just wanted to conclude this video by letting you know about a really cool resource that we put together for you to help you with your activism. So it's this Sprout Up's Guide to Youth Activism, and you can either look at it on your computer or you can print it out and fold it into a brochure like this one. So inside, you'll find some information on how to identify a problem. You'll find some ideas for doing art as activism, like making a poster or a mural. You'll find a poster template. You'll find a letter writing template and other writing prompts. And I think it'll be a really great resource for you. And I know that it can be a little bit overwhelming to think about all the different ways that you can be an activist, but just remember that it's okay to start small. Whether that's by making a poster to put in front of your window or writing a song to share with your friends. You also don't have to do it alone. There might already be a group or an individual out there who you can join their activism. And it's also great to just raise awareness. So talk to your friends and family about an issue that you're passionate about. And that's also a really great way to start. So no matter which form of activism you choose, good luck, have fun, and stay safe. And we'll see you in the next video.